Hey, happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine Wednesday, Canadian wine lovers. Mira Boucher, how are ya?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
I have a bit of a cold.
yeah, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have a 2022 cold.
Yeah. So, the first time from the start of the pandemic, I woke up, I had a runny nose. I did the COVID test, which for a million times was always negative, and this morning it was positive. And I'm
Yeah,
the only one in the family because everyone else tested and they stayed home, but nobody's gotten it yet.
that's the weirdest thing. Weirdest thing.
Hopefully, these vaccines are working. It'll be a quick one and move on, right?
You look pretty good, though. You look pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you go. So a big welcome to everyone across the country, from Nova Scotia all the way to Vancouver Island. Welcome to all of our members. This is great. We have a packed show. We have so much to talk about. We have some pretty cool wine down here. We're gonna taste 6 different Pinot Noir, all from the same producer. A little something that we're going to feature next week. I had to have a little pre-taste of all that, but also we're going to talk about glassware. Let's start because for over a year, my favorite glass, the Gabriel Glass, was out of stock everywhere in the freaking country. There was none available, all stuck in the water. And we finally got our hand on a small batch of it. So I'm thrilled. And what we've done, we have offered to all of our members the possibility of buy a few here for the holidays. So we're going to talk about glassware. What is the difference between different shape of glassware? How does it reflect on your tasting potential, on your aromas, and on your overall experience? So we're going to talk about that. We're not going to only talk about it. We're going to experience it.
Yeah. I
So,
told Carl, the cat's out of the bag. We know which one we're biased towards. It's the Gabriel Glass. But it's still interesting to hear someone like Carl who can describe wine really well, kind of talk about what you're experiencing with each glass. And you get a better sense of, you know, what the different shapes might do to the wine. I
oh,
think of glassware a little bit like, when you're eating food.
oh,
It's similar.
absolutely.
Have you ever had one of those god awful bamboo forks, right?
Oh,
And they almost like leave splinters in your mouth and you're eating and you might be eating caviar. I don't know. But if you've got one of those forks that you're putting it in your
it
mouth with,
tastes like wood. It tastes wood.
yeah,
Like
and
it,
your attention goes to the fork and not the food, right?
but it's
So
also like cooking. Like like example, we cooked a pulled pork, a pork shoulder last night, and
oh
we
yeah,
cooked it in our Le Creuset, right? So that beautiful $800 freaking pot, and
which I got a good deal on, by the way.
everything that we cook in that pot and in that Le Creuset, everything turns out fantastic.
So it's
So,
funny because we probably wasted a good 3 or 4 pork shoulders in the past. I remember the first one we tried just in the oven, had to throw it out. It was like rubber.
yeah.
And this is the first time using the Le Creuset that it's actually like fall off the bone, ridiculous. Like it's better than the restaurant. It's
Oh,
incredible.
and sorry, I'm just pouring wine here. I'll let you keep talking about, like, but I think it's all
Well,
about, yeah, these tools, right?
so yeah, it's the tools idea. So sometimes, like I found a funny gif. I'll have to show it to you guys. Sometimes it's one of those days where you're like, I don't care. I can drink wine out of a bucket. I can drink it out of the bottle. Like I don't know. I've hardly ever had a day like that, but there are those days where maybe it's hot outside and you're at the beach and you're like, I don't care. Just put it in a plastic cup, whatever. Just get me something refreshing that I can kind of enjoy, right, with my friends. But there are other times when you're opening a special wine or you have the time to just sit there and enjoy wine while you're chatting with people, you know? And that's when I think it matters what glass you use.
Yeah, and you remember, like we had the good nurse on when they came to West Cologne a couple years ago, and they showed up with their glasses, or they were coming to the hotel when we were doing our wine dinner series, and always bringing their Gabriel glasses with them. And I kind of adopted that strategy when we're
Yes.
meeting with the Amersleys at the beach, or
Yeah,
when
we
with
take
some
them there.
friends, and we know like if people are gonna have a bunch of wines open, like you know what, I'm bringing my Gabriel glass, because I'm not tasting wines out of a plastic cup. Sorry, I don't.
It does impact the experience and the aromas and things you get out of it. That's the box. And so the box is pretty awesome because it's definitely reusable and it fits the glasses really well. Like you can put them in and out of there really easily. So we love that box. In fact, Vicky was saying, "Hey, they have a 6 pack and a 12 pack at Gabriel Glass, right? Like 6 across and then 12 across. It's like 4 or 5 feet long of glassware in a big box." But I thought, like, practically speaking, if you're going out somewhere, you don't want to carry this massive box of fragile glassware. Like, it's better to have 3 or 4 or 6 of the littler ones that you can put in a bag or something and take it with you. So it's a
Yeah,
great little perk to have that box. We have a few of them, even of the ones that we've broken because
yeah.
inadvertently.
Well, you know what? I have many more boxes than I have glasses. That I can tell you. I'll tell you one thing.
And well, let's tell you guys why. So because originally we fell in love with the Gabriel Gold glass, okay, and that's been out of stock since the start of the pandemic, and they're not really bringing it back anytime soon because that one is mouth blown. The one we are talking about here is machine blown at the same factory in Austria,
Yeah,
same crystal, everything, but it's machine blown. And so it's only about $42, $43 a glass. And the Gabriel Gold is about $100 a glass because it's mouth blown. And it's way thinner. Like if you think the Gabriel glass is thin, it's about the weight of a tablespoon. Um, then the Gabriel Gold is even thinner. So that's the problem is we have kids and those thin glasses, they might be really cool to taste out of, but they did not last at our house because it was just so easy. Once when I was trying to polish one, snapped. They're so thin and fragile. So maybe another stage in our life when we're not so hurried. But these standard ones, these are the ones in all like tasting rooms and restaurants and stuff. They give the same shape, but they are not as easy to break. They're really durable. So,
but Mira, let me. Okay, I know you were a fan of the gold, but personally, I've never been a big fan of the gold
oh
because of the
really?
weight. To me, they were too light. And for me, it's all about the feel. That's why I love this one so much. And I felt like if from the get go, from the first time that I tasted wine with my Gabriel glass, it enhanced my experience. From the very first time,
Absolutely.
the weight is just perfect. Like I can swirl. Like I don't know, it just like
Yeah.
it
So
feels so good in my hand. With the gold, it was weird. I felt if I had nothing in my hand, I feel
yeah.
like the wine will just like was just too light.
And I think it's in a different category too. Once you get glasses over like $80 a glass, there's only a few. There's like the Zalto, the Wine Wings from
Yeah,
Riedel,
yeah.
and the Gabriel Glass Gold. There's not too many, and they're different kind of category. Like I think it's just for those really special occasions, or if you're very careful with your glassware.
Yeah, and and then, again, I think it go. I always come back to the feel. Like,
Yeah,
to me, the
it's true.
harmony between your.
So when you do this with this glass, there's a balance because the weight of the glass is about 145 grams, and I probably have like about 150 mils of. So like they kind of balance each other out. With the Gabriel Gold, this wine would weigh like double the weight of the glass. So you literally feel like you're holding wine. So yeah, it's not as I don't know. This one feels so much more connected. At the same time, I've had heavy glasses, and those are not fun either. Those do not feel as nice.
Like this one. Like this one is heavy.
Daryl needs an acrylic version. Yeah, there used to be those ones in like the 80s and 90s, Daryl, that were like the unbreakable. Remember those? Whatever happened to those? Did they find out they're
They had
carcinogenic?
some. They have plastics in the composite. There was a different
Yeah.
blend of material with some
I remember
plastic in there.
when they came out, we were like, this is amazing. And we like smashed dishes and they wouldn't break. And yeah, but I don't think they make those anymore for some reason.
So I
But
saw there was a debate today on our social media
oh yeah,
about the stemless and the
yeah.
non-stemless. So that was interesting to see where. Was it glass or cutlery? This one.
How was that cutlery? Are you okay, Cedric?
Okay.
He's just getting himself a snack, I think.
There you go. There you go. Anyway, I don't get too stressed out because there's only 2 Gabriel left, and you have one and I have one. So
Yeah, they can't go too far. And we've got a huge batch getting here any day. So
but then, and that's one thing I wanted to mention. Sometime you start promoting a product because you find an opportunity to make money, or you find an opportunity to, like, someone approach you. With Gabriel Glas and Carl's Wine Club, it was the opposite. It was all the way around. We loved it so much when we tried it the first time. We said, how can we need to find the distributor. We need to get our hand on that. We need to make sure that our members share the same, like, has the same privilege of tasting wines in these glasses. So we tracked them down, we found them, and we begged them to distribute their product. So that was all the way around, that the usual process, right?
yes, totally. And it's interesting because, like, do you know Madeleine Phuket?
Yes,
The
absolutely. She
does Wine Folly, right? So they actually make their own. So she has a video where for 20 minutes she does the same thing you're about to do. She tests 5 different glasses. And then after she did that, she fell in love with the Gabriel Glas. And they actually, for years now, have been carrying the official Wine Folly Gabriel Glas. So it's just a Gabriel Glas, but they custom etch Wine Folly on it.
Yeah.
And it has pour levels, so you can know what your pour is if you've got a party or whatever.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now, I love what she does. She's a really, really, really good wine ambassador. She's a somm. She is one of the somm that she talk about wine where it's easy to understand. She's really down to earth, and I love the way she talks about wine. She's a real gem. I really like her. And
Yeah.
she's been working with Gabriel Glas. She's one of the biggest. Yeah, like she's been featuring Gabriel Glas for 10 years. So anyhow, yeah, and so we're having some. Okay.
A good long time, yes. There's a few people like her that that have done the same thing and really enjoy the Gabriel Glas. I have some really good news, Carl.
What?
Guys, I have some really good news. So
What news?
with COVID, sometimes you lose your sense of smell and taste.
Yeah.
I haven't.
There you
I had to
go.
check. This is
Yeah,
why we
yeah,
open
yeah.
the wine. Check every day now. Make sure I haven't had any issues with that. But so
Yeah,
far,
and
so good.
so far, so good. Touch wood. That is fantastic. That's awesome. Oh, as long as you don't lose your computer skills, I can compensate, and I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I just have
Okay.
something here. Look, this is Madeleine Phuket. This is what she tasted on her YouTube video. So Zalto, Zwissel, 1872. Swaggle, Gabriel Glas Gold, which the only comment she made in her video was that she tasted it with the standard. Same thing as you, Carl. She said it feels too light.
Yeah,
And then JR and RB, I don't know what that is. So kind of, these are US dollars, right? 30 to 60 US dollars, which is what in Canadian, and you factor in 10 years of inflation. What is that, like 50 to 100 now?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I have here, I have Riddell. I have the Riddell restaurant. Here I have a stemless Riddell as well. I have my Gabriel glass here, and I have a Pinot Noir because we're drinking Pinot. So I have a Pinot Noir shape. It's a generic brand, though. I think it's CNS or whatever it is. So I have four different glasses, and we're just going to give it a little try here with the same wine. I have the 2019 um, Pinot Noir blend from Code Wine from Okanagan Falls. So all the same wine. You have the same. And for you, Mira, because I know you were a little tired and under the influence of maybe a little bit of medication and your COVID experience. So I gave you only two glasses. You have your Gabriel Glass and you have the Riddell restaurant.
Thank
So
you.
I didn't put you through the whole four glasses test. And what I'm going to do here, I will rate on a scale of 100 my experience with each and every glass.
It's a good
And I
idea.
will,
Keeping in mind it's an entirely biased study because we already know that we really like this one and we've done this before. But it's interesting to hear what it's like with this particular wine and what
there
we
you
observe.
go. So I'm going to start. You tell me which one of the four you want me to start with, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the flow.
Well, it's a Pinot Glass, so go with the so it's a Pinot wine, right? So go with the
Yeah,
Pinot Glass.
perfect. So I'm going to start with the Pinot Glass here. Okay, nice shape. And I'm a big fan of like with that kind of the two straight line like this.
Yeah.
I used to have the Spigolo line with that model because I really like. I think if you know me by now, you know that I like swirling. So and I like where the wine goes in that very specific concave area here, and I really like that feeling. So uh, so this is my Pinot Glass. I like the way it feels. This is heavy for me. This is a little bit heavy, so it's not as pleasant. That's a little bit of that weight surplus. The the stamp is not that long, so the feet doesn't like it's kind of like land in the wrong place from my wrist, so it's not the most comfortable feel. But the nose, what I like with the Pinot Glass when you drink a Pinot, it's the bowl is not that deep, so I can get that big nose here of mine right in there, and I got all of the aromas very properly. So this is a Pinot wine with the Pinot Glass. So my aromas are coming out at the right place at the right time. Like it's that on that part, it's pretty good. So
I got to tell you something with mine, okay? Maybe you'll do this one later, Carl. Okay, but this is the glass I have here. It has a short little stem, so same problem. I don't feel like I can hold it properly without like just grabbing onto the bowl. And it's very like long. So I go in there. I am not smelling a whole lot. And I'm almost worried I'm smelling the glass itself, like maybe the glass wasn't clean. When I go here, I'm getting a totally different set of aromas. So interesting. These are with the Gabriel Glass richer.
well, look, okay, if you put them, okay, guys, look at the feet are at the same level,
Yeah.
right? So look how lower your wine is.
Yeah. From your
Okay,
nose.
so yeah,
Yeah. Very different.
very different. So your wine is at a much more. So these are more for Cabernet, I would say.
Yeah.
So wine with more powerful aromas, I would say. So
Yeah.
these are the, yeah, and I'm with you. I'm right with you. The stamp is not at the right place. The stamp is too short. This is practical for restaurant or for volume type of operation, where longer stamp you have, easier it is to tip the wines. and then also for employees to handle all of the stuff. So short stamp is
And
always safer.
and also for commercial dishwashers. So I did notice that like if you order like we do with wholesale from Gabriel Glass, they recommend a specific kind of commercial dishwasher tray that will be the perfect height, and it's probably not the kind that most restaurants already have. So that's another interesting tidbit there about the sizes of glasses, right?
Exactly.
Hey,
So,
interesting thing though. So you said the glass you had there just now is kind of the Pinot shaped glass, so it worked decently to getting the
yeah,
aromas out, right?
yeah,
So that is something. Like there is like Riddell manufactures a line of glassware where you could buy like 8 kinds, 10 kinds, 12 kinds of glasses specifically for each varietal or type of wine,
yeah.
right? So that's one school of thought
It
is that
is. And you're bringing a fantastic point here. An absolutely fantastic point because we're big fan of the Silva Vineyard and Wineries, right? Big
yes,
fan. We
huge.
love what they're doing. They have a very specific attention to details. Everything they do it properly. So if you go to the Silva Vineyards and Winery, you do the full tasting. You taste wine in different shapes. You taste the Chardonnay in a Chardonnay glass, or Pinot in a Pinot glass, and the whole 9 yard. Correct? I think that's the point you're bringing, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And it does work well if you have the patience to, figure out which wine goes where and then store all those wines, and not to mention outlay to buy all those glasses, not all those wines, but to buy like so many different kinds of glasses, right? Um but for us, like sometimes we're tasting 54 wines at a time like we did for Chardonnay Day side by side. And it's good to know we have one that we know works really well with everything, right?
Well, that's the thing. To me, that with my relationship with the weight, the stamp, the whole physical experience with my Gabriel Glass, it was point number one. And point number two, what took me to over the edge is this is designed to look at the shape here. It's designed to bring the best of every single grape varietal. So, and from there, I was done with the 4, 5, 6 different wine shapes, glass shape, to have the one for all. And I was like, oh my God, finally. It's one thing that I was pretty annoyed with. It's to switch glasses and to bring the different style of glass every time we tasted a different style of wine. It was a big pet peeve for me. And yeah, thank you, Mira. Perfect timing here with
This gives you the shape, okay? Because it's an interesting shape. And you looked for that shape for a long time. I remember we were going on Amazon during the pandemic and trying to find glassware, and he'd be like, not that one, not that one, not that one.
And I remember once I said, but what you mean that one? You say no to everything. And I was really, really, really looking for that kind of shape, like bring it back in and opening up a little bit at the
So
end.
So the guy who invented this is Rene Gabriel, and he's like a famous wine critic out in Germany. And he obsessed about this problem for years. And he actually decided to shape the Gabriel glass after a rose. Because he said, how do you get that amazing aroma from a rose? It's funneling its aromas out for you. And it's exactly the right shape for your nose, too. Like he kind of shaped it so you don't have too wide of an opening or not too narrow. And he shaped it after a rose, which makes sense. So if you look at it, it's kind of like a rose that's just blooming.
Yeah. And in aesthetic wise, this wine looks beautiful. And I know there's people in our social media, in our close group, that are big fan of the wings. Riddell, sorry, I can't stand the style. Just these little waves in there, I just can't stand it. Uh, so for me, I tried the wings. They're just not for me. And price wise, if you go pound for pound, this is my absolute winner. So yeah, okay. So here with my generic Pinot glass, I like it because I'm drinking Pinot. in the physical standpoint here, it's a little too heavy. The stamps is not the perfect length, but I like the nose operation, and I like where the wine hits my mouth. So for this, and if you take it here, there's the same kind of the bowl shape, right? You can see here, right? And you can see it with the Gabriel as well, but much shorter for the Pinot and a little bit more in the longer shape for the Gabriel. So I will give that generic Pinot Glas here a 88 points.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of just passes would do.
Yeah, and you know what? I will do 89, okay?
Okay.
I will do 89 in a sense that it's pleasant, but there's some flaws. But in general, I don't mind going in there. It's not my perfect experience, but it's okay. It's a little too heavy, and there's other things that I'm not thrilled about. But in general, it gives me more pleasure than frustration.
Good.
Okay. So here, second, let's go with the generic, the Riedel restaurant. Okay. I can't, like you mentioned, it's not because you have COVID. The aromas are not.
Too, right?
Yeah, the aromas are not coming all the way up. I can't smell. I'll say half of the aromas that I have.
Well, I'll tell you something. I can smell my unscented lip balm more than I can smell the wine at this point when I go like that. So
and it also not hit the right place in my mouth, especially for the Pinot. So I feel like if I have more air in my mouth when I got my wine, that I have wine in it.
See, that's an interesting point, that the glassware would actually impact what happens after you smell it.
Oh, absolutely. Because the shape of the tip, like of the top here, the top part is designed to come and hit the wine at the proper place.
So it gives you a totally different angle if you look at the angles of these two.
Angle. You got it.
Very different angle.
Exactly. And you see how much closer the wine is from your nose than it is from the other one, all the way at the bottom because of the very short stem. So
I gotta tell you, it's like different wines. Holy crap.
And obviously, this is the generic brand of Riedel, and the glass is much thicker, thicker. When you have it on your lip, it's like there's a thick layer. It's at least double of the. I
don't know if it's quite double, but it certainly is noticeably a bit thicker.
Oh, there's a big difference, especially, your lips are something very sensitive. So to me, the perception on my lips is like completely different.
Yeah.
So this Riedel here, to me, it's an 85 point.
Yeah, it has the same problem as the last one, that I can't actually hold it properly.
Yeah.
So like that,
exactly.
My hand kind of gets. I'm scared.
Well, the only way, it's like put your finger underneath and But to me, the biggest problem here, to me, it's the thickness of the glass. It's a little way thicker than I would like, and the aromas don't come all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So this, I'll go with the stemless.
Yeah. Because I got to tell you, like when I first saw stemless glasses, as everyone knows, I haven't been drinking wine for long, 2.5 years. And unlike Carl, who's the expert here, but whenever I saw stemless, I was like, I don't really get the point of the stemless, because they don't feel the same, and then you're warming up your wine, and I don't get it. But now I do, because we did buy some stemless glasses. I'm excited to get these Gabriel stemless ones. They are.
Do you have a stemless with you right now?
I can go grab one. I
Go
don't
get
have.
one. Just 1 second. I have to come out. I don't know. There was a call on my phone. I can barely hear anything right now. So I have to come
Okay.
out and come back. Okay.
Okay. So
So
with the stemless, I mean, Arthur has a great point in the comments. The cost of the bottle decides stemless versus stemmed in their household. And that makes so much sense to me. It's also the occasion. Like, definitely, if you're going boating, I think it's way more practical to have the stemless than the stemmed glasses. But yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing that's like, okay, what are we having? A nice, cheerful white? Let's go stemless. Who are we having with? Someone who, we're just going to have dinner and chat, but they don't appreciate wine as much? Maybe stemless. Is it someone that we're going to sit there and taste a whole bunch of different wines with, and they're going to really appreciate, chatting about the wines? Then we're definitely pulling out the Gabriel glasses. So you almost know, like, if you ever come over to our house, uh, and we pull out the stemless, if it's because we don't have enough glassware, that's another story. But Daryl says a sippy cup works for boaters. I have used those too. They're very handy on the boat because you really don't have to worry about spilling anything. But it's not quite the same. Yeah.
okay, I'm back.
And Daryl's just sharing that he's not a big fan of the Riddell wings.
Well,
But I have tried the wings, Daryl, and they are pretty spectacular. Like they do bring out aromas in a really different way than, let's say, this little Riddell guy.
I agree. They are much more sophisticated. I agree. But I just don't like these multiple curve of like the bump piece. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't look exciting, especially if you're taking like pictures of it or whatever. Here, I'll show you.
Oh, it's more to me. Anyway, everyone has their style of that, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like guitar. Like some people are Gibson style guitar. They like to play with a very certain style of guitar, and some others like, oh no, I don't do that. Same thing with bikes. I don't know. Some people are riding bikes, and there are one kind of bike, and they're stick with it, and yeah, to me, the wings are just not for me. But it's just me personally.
Yeah, we're fans of the Gabriel Glas for sure. And there's a point there, Daryl. Not as easy to clean with those bumps in them. So
that is another point. Another point, like massive point here. Okay, so recap here. My now I was
these are the wine wings, by the way. That's the bump we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yes, recap. So you have, and I haven't gone to get a stemless, so we'll just rely on your experience with the stemless.
Okay.
Because I already kind of know.
I am not okay because again, you know me, right? I like to swirl my wine.
Yeah.
I like to talk, and I talk and I swirl. And
and there's a funny story with that because someone was like, "What's wrong with you? Why do you swirl your wine so much?" And I think it's a good point. You taste a lot of young wines, so you're constantly having to open them up. That makes a lot of sense. This kind of like ages them as you do that, right?
Yeah. Or just open them up, right? And so yeah, especially because I have so many different, like we open so many different wines at the same time, and they're all very young. So yeah. So while we talk, we swirl. And to me, my problem with the stemless, it is not conducive to swirling. More you hold the glass, more you warm up your glass. So for me, for what I do, stemless, it's not conducive to what I do personally. But with this one, I like the shape. I don't have as much aromas, though. I feel like the aromas are not as precise. For this is the Riddell one. Again, the glass is a little thicker, so not as much enjoyment.
Yeah, so now I want to try it. I just want to try it side by side since we're talking about it. I'll be right back. Because it is interesting. Yeah.
I feel
And
like if I'm having a glass of juice, I'm having like if I'm sipping on a glass of
oh
juice.
geez. Okay. I don't mind the stemless that much as I thought I would, but yeah, it's interesting. Roy is just saying, have you ever done the Riedel glass tasting? And I think you probably have, Carl. I
Oh yeah,
haven't.
multiple times, especially when I was at Rush in Calgary. We did that a lot.
Yeah, and I believe it. Like, I'm sure it makes a huge difference, like we're seeing now, to drink from a Cab Sauv glass to a Pinot glass when you're, like it makes sense. But that's why we like this. You don't have to deal with 20 different kinds of glasses, right?
Exactly. Go get your stemlets. We'll get. There you go. So now I'm on my own here. I'm tasting cold wine. That's funny because what I have behind here, it's a clonal selection of 4 different clones with 2 of the blend, the 2019 and 2020. But we have clone 777 Dijon, clone 115 Dijon. We have the Palmar 91, and also the Ancestor 01. So these are 4 different clones of Pinot Noir who are bottled singularly, like in single bottle, single clone, in a pack of 6 that's going to be featured next week. So 4 clonal from the same vineyard, same year, same everything. So yeah, it is the excitement for next week. There's not a whole lot, if none, in the country who are doing clonal collection like that. So we are going, and I'm gonna start tasting that very soon here. I know that the 777 Dijon clone was just named by Anthony Gismondi, one of the top 10 Pinot of BC this year, and he gave it a 92 points. So I really I'm really excited to give it a try and to see what the other clone, how to compare the Ancestor. Do you want to come up and get some wines, or do you want me to come down?
I'm just gonna do this. Did you see, like, Arthur and Francis are asking? Good question here. Do the additional bumps on the wine wings offer improved aromatics?
I think it's more to hit the zone in your mouth. I think that's to give it another, like, I am not exactly sure of the exact purpose of it, but to me, I think it will be more of where the wine will hit in your mouth to give.
Okay, what do you call me? You call me the researchist. Okay, so I'm gonna go researchist this. They increase the surface area between wine and air, increases the levels of evaporation, and develops a greater intensity of aroma.
So it's all in the aromas.
So yeah, so what they're saying is it's almost like the wine takes flight because it kind of like goes like this in the air as it's coming into your mouth, so it gives it more developed aromas and flavors. It's almost like a little mini decanter kind of as it comes out, which is the same premise as the Gabriel Glas, really. Like, the shape is meant to use physics to bring out the best of the wine, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Interesting. So what do you think of your stemless?
Okay.
What's your opinion?
So my opinion is it is kind of nice to hold it, but I know I'm warming up my wine. Like, if you ever have cold, like chilled something in the summer, if I do this 5 times with it, if it's 30 degrees out, it's going to get hot. Like, I get almost nothing on the nose with this one. The flavors are nice and juicy, but if I want to get something on the nose, it's from this one.
Absolutely. Well, I like what Daryl says here in his comments. And you know what, Daryl? That's exactly what we've been talking since the beginning. I'm not here to prove anything. It's completely biased. And I mentioned it 3 times before we started. Like, I am completely sold on Gabriel Glas. It doesn't matter what you're going to, like how I'm going about it. It's just like, yeah, there's nothing scientific that I'm proving here tonight. There's nothing. It's, yeah.
It's interesting to talk about. It's interesting because there are certain things that make sense, right? Like
But I'm
if
still trying to be honest. I'm honest to myself, and I'm honest with you guys. Like I'm not here to tell any bullshit, but
if
also what Gomia.
if we could find another glass that performs as well as the Gabriel glass, especially at a lower price point, we would probably be really excited and we would go and get a bunch of them because, at $43 or so a glass, this is not cheap, right? So, especially if you're hosting a bunch of people
Oh,
at your
I'm with
house.
you. I'm with you, especially when it's you and me in the same household, and a 13-year-old teenager who was in charge of emptying the dishwasher. This is murder row for Gabriel Glasses here, but yeah. And again, also, let's put it that way: the three other glasses that I picked, there's in no way, shape, or form in the same category of quantity.
No.
Like I got a major league player here, and I got like three junior.
Yeah.
And I'm comparing apple and oranges here. It's completely by, like I said, I mentioned it again. I don't own other top premium brand of glasses. I could have gone out there, buy it, and go. No, it's just like, to me, we were very excited to get the Gabriel glass back, and I wanted to give a little bit of a not of a boost, but just to
Context.
like to mention how much we enjoy it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little bit of the break.
Yeah.
Right?
We've touched on why. Like I didn't even ever think of the length of the stem. Honestly, I never thought about it till you pointed it out. I'm like, yeah, it is really freaking awkward with this one. It is.
It is
You know,
absolutely.
it's not the kind of glass, like it's the kind of glass that you pick up and put down at a banquet at your table. It's not the kind of glass you ever want to walk around with or like enjoy a long tasting from, right? But that's
100%.
that's the point. Every glass has a purpose, kind of like with wine, There's a place for the $16 wine and there's a place for the $100 wine, and it depends what you're looking to get out of it.
Yeah, Daryl's talking about the Zalto. How much is the Zalto? Like, it's $100 a piece, I guess, or
I think they're one in Canada. They're like more. They're like 130 or something. And they're basically the same price as the Gabriel Glass. When Madeleine Paquette did her, when she did her comparison, I think the biggest difference is the Zalto is more straight up and down.
okay.
Which she didn't like. She didn't like the way it sits when she goes to take a sip. It was a little too rigid, and yeah. And Daryl says, sounds like he tried to get one and it took 6 months to deliver. So not ideal.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So good.
So yeah, anyhow, I
Also,
think
Arthur seems to get this whole the party thing, because he's saying, the stemless come out when it's a lower priced wine, the stem come out when it's a higher priced wine, and it's the one glass fits all is great for a party, which is a really good point. Because again, you're not worried about, well, what are you having? Are you having a Chardonnay? Let me go get my Chardonnay glass. And are you having a Pinot? Let me go get my Pinot glass for you.
and especially because they are designed for that, especially because there's a purpose in the design. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just love it. I just like sometimes you try to explain your buddy when you go for wings and the drink why you love your wife. Oh, you know what? I fucking love her just because she's my wife, and she is. Like, I love everything. I love everything about her. And
Wow.
that's the thing about that same thing about the Gabriel Glass to me. Like, it's my, like, I just like everything about it. The shape, it's the feeling, the way, like the
And it does
whole
make
thing.
a difference. So I think that's the biggest point, is that we wouldn't be going to great lengths to bring these into the country and find them and all this stuff if it didn't make such a big difference. It's very
No,
much.
and it's not because we're making money about that. So
Yeah, there's not a huge.
no. This is not a moneymaker. This is not a moneymaker. I tell
No,
you.
we just we're down to our last two, so this is as personal as it gets. We needed more.
Yeah, exactly. And if we need to get more, so, well, why don't we offer it to our members, and let's go from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, sounds like Daryl brings his Gabriel Glass to parties, which is it's a good point. This is why I say, like, back when we first discovered the Gabriel Glass, one of our members said, keep the box, don't throw out the box, because you can bring that out with you wherever you go.
And we do.
We do. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. So that's what the glassware, about 50 minutes.
Okay, well, tell us about this Pinot, because this is very exciting too. Next week, we're featuring a winery that many may have never heard of. We went out there a couple months ago, and they're in Okanagan Falls. He has what, 6 acres or so?
Yeah, 5 or 6 acre. Beautiful little vineyard. He does Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and
Syrah.
You got it.
Yep, which are like Chardonnay and Syrah, two of my very favorites, and I like a good Pinot too. So it was great. And what's really special about this, okay, this particular wine we're tasting right now, 43 cases produced, because they're just getting started. They made their wines at Roche Winery, the last few vintages. And
because they're brand new. They're brand new in the wine scene. Absolutely new on the wine. It's their second release here. And so, yeah. Now, what I'm going to do, they have 6 different Pinots. They have the 2019 clone blend, 2020 clone blend, and they have the 4 different clone of the 2020, sorry, I have to check, of the 2020 vintage. The Ancestor 01, the Pommard 91, the Dijon 777, and the Dijon 115. So usually the Ancestor 101, that's the one that I'm going to taste first. I'm just going to try to give them just a quick little taste, very quickly.
Yeah, and, so what's fascinating is I didn't.
It is because it's same grapes from in the same vineyard. They have just different rows. So
and different clones. So he went to great lengths to find the specific clones, like from France. I think they were all from France, hey? Or did he get one from California? So he sourced these very specific clones, because that was the whole point and idea behind the winery. I mean, his last name is Code, so it kind of makes sense too. But the point is that he wants to display the clonal differences, the DNA differences of the grapes. And they are different. It's very interesting. So this particular one is their estate blend of all 4, right? 4 clones?
4 clones. I'm tasting the Ancestor 01 right now.
Oh, you are?
That's very like that mountain Pinot Noir style. I mean, like mineral. I mean, very cold climate. A little bit like lots of licorice and earthiness. I would say like almost like German style. Huh. So yeah. This is a little dark. Licorice on the nose, licorice on the palate. This is very, very interesting. All of these wines are made the French way. Are made the same way. All in French barrel. It's 12 months in barrel. They're all unfined, unfiltered. So same winemaking, exact same thing on everything, just different clones. So. Okay, so this is the Ancestor 01.
Yeah, and we were out at his vineyard.
I like the maturity of the fruit, though. There's a nice ripeness in there. It's not green. It's not unripe. Even if it's mountain style to me, I mean more high altitude and all that. Like the fruit is ripe, so it's not unripe fruit. So very, very important to me. Okay.
Yeah, it's we were quite blown away. Which one of these clones was the one that Gismondi gave?
The 777.
Which he never freaking does. He's very stingy with the Canadians, with the Canadian wines. So
Okay,
it was
I'll
the
do
center
the now following.
gave
I
many.
will do the Dijon 115. So when I say Dijon, these ones are the Dijon 115 originally from Burgundy. The 777 is the classic Dijon clone, but the 115 is a different. Whoa, completely different nose here. Very
Jeez.
perfumey.
Hey, what's the alcohol on the ones you just tasted?
So for the
Mm-hmm.
Ancestor 01, we are at 12 and a half. Okay. 12 and a half with the Ancestor 01. The 115. The 115 still smell a little hotter. I can have a little bit more jammy fruit here. But also perfumey. I have a little bit of violet here. Red currant on the nose. Beautiful color here. Beautiful, beautiful color.
So Shay Code and his wife Harley, we actually met them in Calgary at our son's school way before we had Curls Wine Club and before we knew that they were going to buy a winery. So it's kind of a funny story. And we didn't even connect the dots until we met again. We're like, I think I know you from somewhere. And they're also from Calgary. He worked for IBM, I think, for a long time, retired.
Xerox, I think.
Oh, Xerox. It was IBM. Anyway,
doesn't matter. The 115 is really fucking good. Whoops.
You swearing again?
Sorry. Really good. A little higher. I think it's.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel a little warmer here. It's 13% alcohol for the 115, just in case Daryl asks.
Yeah. Slightly higher.
It's like 0.5%, but it feels a little bit jammier. In a sense that it's not jammy, it's really pinot-y, but there's a little bit more ripe fruit in the 115. I like the finish. The finish is a little spicy. There's a little bit of mushroom, like cooked mushroom earthiness in there at the back end, so you have a little bit of a cranberry jam on a little roasted portobello, something like that. Like it's earthy but nice bright fruit. So really
I got that
good.
earthiness on the first one as well. It's a really nice, almost like a meaty kind of finish there. Yeah, I really like it.
The difference between the Ancestor to me and the Dijon 115, much more licorice in the Ancestor. Much more. The fruits were not as ripe. The Dijon right there, I'm at 91 points. Okay, that's Ancestor, maybe not as much. Maybe at 89 plus or 90. At 91 for the Dijon 115, I really enjoy that. Like,
yeah, so we need to send Daryl a loonie for his swear jar every time you swear. Daryl, you'll be rich. You'll have all your wines paid off for. And he likes his Pinots in the 13 to 13.3 range, assuming balance is there. You know, with these sorts of things, we never get prejudiced over the numbers because sometimes they don't, they don't drink. Like we've had wines that are like higher alcohol than we expect, but they don't drink that way. So it's interesting.
So now, the 777, okay? Now this is truly Pinot Noir on the nose. Earthy, really earthy on the nose. Cedar, a little bit of dark chocolate as well. A little bit of herb. Dark chocolate's coming out.
Nice.
Okay. So that's that one. Just for Daryl here. Hi. 13.5 now. We're going up another half a point.
That one's a Carl's excited now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is powerful. There's richness, there's power, but there's finesse as well. So this is really classic Pinot Noir. Really classic, and the fruits are ripe. There's a little bit of dark chocolate in there. Almost a little bit of blueberry, but definitely ripe raspberry. Violet. This is, oh yeah, there's a tannin in there as well. This is serious.
So which one is that one?
Where's finesse meet power? That's where it is.
Which one is that one you're talking about?
That's the 777.
777. Okay. And Daryl's asking how much, and there's 6, right? So I think
93 points for this bad boy. That's where I'm standing here. This is Legato. This is Legato level.
Wow. That's the 777. That's the one Gismondi gave 92.
Like there's a great complexity in there. Like nice complexity. There's that evolution in the back end from herbs to spice. It lingers. There's the richness in the texture. That's everything I want in a Pinot.
That's amazing. That's the one that you got all excited about. Let me see. I don't know if this is I have no idea which video this is. This is you testing. No, that's the Chardonnay.
Excited.
Is this girl? You have to tell me.
But that's clearly Chablis. Like it is like.
So that was you tasting the Chardonnay. I can't tell which one's which right now, but yeah, you got very excited. And that 777, you just said 93 points. That's the one Mondi gave 92 to. So yeah.
Okay, one of the top 10. See, that's one of the top 10 Pinot. Gismondi and Treve. What's his last name? Anyway, his right-hand writer. They put this one in the top 10 BC Pinot. So
Daryl's asking how much, and I think this 6-pack.
It's 210 for the 6-pack.
It's 214 according to their website, and I'm gonna bet that is before tax.
Yeah,
is it? Probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get that tax added on. But the 6-pack, is it in our feature next week?
It is.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great. Yeah, that's great because he is running really low on wine. So we went in September. We tasted all these wines. Carl was so excited about the Syrah.
We have 30 vertical available, the 30 package available.
Yeah, and then Shay Code said, you guys, we are literally almost completely out of wines. So he saved as much as he could for us next week.
There's 30.
We were gonna feature them in 2 weeks, but we did a switcheroo because we were worried it was gonna sell out. So
yeah, we have to move faster. Daryl, I cannot sell the 777 on its own. I'm sorry. This is for a very like we always go for like custom your own pack, but these are made to be sold by the sets and like
he only has 30 of each left or whatever, so he doesn't want someone just taking a case of it and then
the 777 and yeah. Hey, what's your language, sir?
Is there gonna be like a joint swear jar that I can benefit from?
Oh, you might be rich, Mira Boucher, you might be rich.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of backlash from the kids as well. Yeah, okay, that 777 is in the book now. I love it. Okay, this is really classic Pinot.
Thank you, Daryl. You're so honest. That's good. Yeah. So when we were at the vineyard, just to give you an idea, this is the little vineyard site. So that's some of the newer vines there. And so I think they planted in 2016, right? So they're just coming into their first, like 2020 was kind of one of their first real vintages, right?
Great length. Oh, that's fine. Well, now I'm going to the Pomar clone, the Pomar 91. So Pomar is another type of Burgundy clone. So just to give people a little bit of perspective, Pinot, the home of the Pinot Noir, it's Burgundy in France, one of the cold climate region in the world where they're specialized. Like the only thing they can grow in Burgundy, basically, it's Pinot Noir for red and Chardonnay for white. So there's multiple different kinds. Since the Phylloxera, when the bog killed the vines across in the old world, they planted American rootstock and they cloned different European clone on American rootstock. So that's how you have the wine world rebuilt after the crisis of the Phylloxera. So Pomar, it's one of the village in France, in Burgundy, where it's very well known for their more powerful Pinot Noir. One of my favorite village appellation. So I'm expecting great thing here, a little bit more, really my style of Pinot, if I may. Yeah. It's savory. Like coffee. Cassis almost. Ripe raspberry. Wow. So more, it's really fine tannin. The tannin are really fine. This is the riper style of fruits of all. These are more on the plum, on blueberries, more on blue fruit, I would say. So a little bit more full body. No, not full body, more riper fruit or blue fruit, while the other ones were more on red fruit. A little bit brighter acidity. But there's a very fine tannin. Lots of dark chocolate at the end. 13.3 Daryl on the. This is really good as well. Completely different than the 777. I would say there's maybe a little bit more richness in that wine as well. So yeah, very different. All of these guys are 22 cases made. So
that's why we can't custom the mixes. Hey, speaking of, are all in that 6-pack of different Pinots? Are they all different vintages? There's a few different.
No, yeah, all of the clones are 2020. The 4 that I just tasted: Dijon 777, Dijon 115, Pomar 91, and Ancestor 01, all 2020 vintage. And the other 2 bottles are the blend, the estate blend of the four clone. Okay, and I have 1 bottle of the 2020 and 1 bottle of the 2019. Okay, so that's the 6-pack. And we're also gonna offer a 3-pack of, it's called the Gene Pool. It's one bottle of the Chardonnay, completely Chablis style. So one Chardonnay, one Syrah, and one 2020 Pinot blend. The estate blend Pinot.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
first
the
one we
gene
tried,
pool.
that's the 2020. The 2020 of that first one we tried with all the different clones together, right?
Yeah. So Daryl, to answer your question, okay. So Daryl, you're familiar with Okanagan Falls because I know that you're a member at Mira. So it's literally less than 5-minute drives from Mira. Mira is up the hill. He is a little bit like mid cliff, in Beach Cliff, like right middle of the hill. So you know the style of the Myers wine. I think 2 of the clones were taken from roots at Meyer. Jack helped Shea to get started. So these are the style of wine you know. Now, I've been saying that these are much younger style of wine, I would say these wines, there's our 2020. I would say 20, not 2025 plus. I would say probably 2023 plus to answer your question. That's how I think these wines are worth trying younger because I don't know. You know, when you know a personal land very well, you know the pedigree, it's easier to project down the road how long the wines are going to age. When it's a new project, I rather to go shorter on window, smaller window to make sure we don't miss it because I'm not sure of the window of drinkability yet. So to me, it's more 2023 opening, 20, yeah, maybe next year, right? I will settle that for a year, and after that, I'll start opening them up. So, so yeah, this is a little bit my philosophy on that.
Yeah, of course, in an ideal world, like with every wine, you buy several, and then you can taste one after a couple years and one after a couple more years and see.
But these are more about to taste side by side.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of cool because it's some of the first vintages, right? Like you were saying, like 23 cases, like 43 cases, like tiny.
Yeah.
And so it's really going to be interesting to see the progression of this winery and the wines.
Exactly. So yeah, very, very cool concept. We tasted the Syrah. The Syrah is really freaking fantastic.
We even tasted a Syrah that was what? How many cases? Like 14?
Yeah, no, yeah, 12 cases. And it's funny because we saw like people were like, how did he make 10 cases? Well, he had a mini barrel. That's so funny because his wife, as a birthday gift or as an anniversary gift.
It was a wedding gift because their friends knew that they like wine. So someone got them a mini barrel, like custom made mini barrel with their wedding info on it as a decoration for their house. And they actually ended up converting that mini barrel when they found out that's all the wine they were going to be able to make that year. And they made wine with it.
Yeah, so very interesting.
Well, my kids are very proud to say that we actually know Santa personally. And sometimes we even text him or call him if there's an issue or if we need to remind him about something. So I will put in a plug for you. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there. Yes, I have Santa on speed dial. I have him on text message. I have Santa and the Tooth Fairy.
Cedric was bragging to his friend the other day. My dad knows Santa.
Hey.
So.
So yeah, so that's what we have here. The gene pool and the clonal collection is coming next week to you guys with this very, very small.
Daryl's wife knows him too. Holy cow, what a small world.
I didn't know, Daryl, that your wife and I knew the same person. That is pretty cool. I don't know if she knows the Tooth Fairy as well as I know her, but we'll see. So yeah. Here we are. The Gene Pool and the Clonal Collection from Code Wine next week coming your way. I just thought I will taste these wines live. Gabriel glasses are back in stock. Very small inventories are coming our way. So put your order as fast as possible. And so, yeah, we can ship them to you.
I will actually put some links in the comments. So if you have been listening and you're curious to check this out, I will put the link here.
There you go. And yeah.
And then there's still members able to order for the next 10 days or 15 days or so gifts. So we've spoken to certain wineries that are willing to ship at a reduced shipping rate 1, 2, or 3 bottles of wine, which is often really handy if you have to ship somebody a gift. Because if you have to take a bottle of wine and go to the post office, you're going to be spending $30-$40 to ship a bottle of wine with the box and everything. And this way it's $15 to ship a bottle from the winery directly, and they'll write your card for you and they will do all that sort of things. So Uber advanced link to code. Oh, yes, that's a good point. So this is one for sure that VIPs are going to get an edge on, and we'll be sending it to VIPs 1 or 2 days ahead of everyone else. So you will for sure get access the code wines, because there's only such a small amount of them. So
yeah, well, that's that Pomar 91 is really peppery at the end.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. See?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's super cool. I have 291 points, 193 points, 189 points, and I will taste the 2 Pinot blends and yeah, rate them. I think the Syrah, if I remember correctly, were around the 91, 92 as well. Fantastic Syrah.
It's really exciting to see a winery that's so new doing that, but he did it all properly. Like, he spoke to the best growers in the area, right? Jack Meyer came and helped him out. He spoke with some of the best winemakers in the area.
Oh, but he has Penelope Roche as a consultant as well. So he hired the best group. He brought some viticulturists like from all over the world. They did it the right way.
So way less trial and error, and we're seeing we're benefiting from that, because these wines right out of the gate are great. So it's a really
much fun.
Really exciting start for them. Happy for them.
Yeah, exactly. Hardworking, passionate.
We will be chatting with Shay Code and airing that interview, because Shay is actually going to be flying next Wednesday night. But we will air that little interview next Wednesday. You will be in Victoria, Monsieur Boucher.
I will be doing a private tasting for a Christmas gifting or a Christmas party with an insurance company out of in Victoria. So I will be out on the coast.
Yeah, so that will be a lot of fun, and we'll do the Wine Wednesday. I'll be curious to see how your trip went. It'll be the first time I'll talk to you, probably. We'll go live.
Okay, well, I think that's it for tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, it was great. Great to see you guys. Thanks for chatting wine glasses and clonal varietal clones and all this sort of stuff with us. It was fun. And we'll have to do this every night. You know, maybe we'll go live every night, Carl, but I have to taste wine every night now because I have COVID. So I need to make sure I still have my sense of smell.
Not sure if we have enough wine around here to make you taste every night, though.
Yeah. We'll have to maybe go out and buy some. No.
Yeah. yeah, sure.
Let's go get our incredible pulled pork that we made in the Le Creuset that actually turned out this time. Really
absolutely good. And I think with the Pomar 91, that's what I want with that.
Oh my gosh, we have all these clones open, so we're gonna have to taste them with the pulled pork. I love it.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, Mira Boucher, thank you. All of you, see you next time.
Cheers.